Close now for the former police chief in Valley, Nebraska. This afternoon, James Deemer pleaded no contest to a single count of official misconduct. In exchange, two other charges were dropped. The judge ordered Deemer to pay a $250 fine. Earlier this year, he pulled over a driver outside of his jurisdiction. That other driver was an off-duty law officer who was given a warning. The traffic stop violated state law.